Being 7 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Bosbus.
Here.
Commissioner Bauer.
Here.
Commissioner Gage.
Here.
Commissioner Gary.
Here.
Commissioner Lynn.
Here.
Commissioner Osterhout.
Here.
Commissioner Twardy.
Commissioner Lynn.
Move to excuse Commissioner Twardy.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you very much. Our first item of business, proclamation honoring Lisa Gothier as president and Shirley Farnquist vice president of Families Against Narcotics, otherwise known as FAN. And let me start with Lisa, and I'll meet you at the podium. I'd like to begin with the proclamation honoring Lisa Gothier as president of Families Against Narcotics of Chippewa County. Whereas Lisa Gothier was the first chapter president of Families Against Narcotics of Chippewa County, an organization which was founded in June of 2013 to respond to a growing misuse of prescription drugs in our community and surrounding area. And whereas Families Against Narcotics' goal is to educate those around us about this drug epidemic, bringing awareness to the forefront in hopes that even more people affected by this insidious problem will feel comfortable joining FAN to facilitate a major change in our community. And whereas Families Against Narcotics is governed by a board of directors whose leaders are selected from the membership to provide support to families affected by drug abuse and addiction, grandparents struggling to understand, concerned citizens, law enforcement, school administrators, health professionals, and recovering addicts. And whereas Sault Ste. Marie resident Lisa Gothier is extremely passionate about FAN, making a difference in our community and raising awareness of the increased drug epidemic. And whereas Ms. Gothier, humble attitude as president of FAN, Chippewa County chapter, and commitment to the community states, I have never felt as if I was a leader because we were all there for the same reason and could relate so well with one another. Simply a group of individuals just fighting the good fight. And whereas Ms. Gothier traveled to Washington, D.C., where she participated in multiple rallies and marches to support the Fed Up rally to encourage a federal response to the opioid epidemic across this country, which FAN supports the cause and optimism that FAN of Chippewa County is moving the message forward. And whereas Ms. Gothier's persistence to change the face of addiction resulted in several community members becoming aware of the drug epidemic and the formation of a committee with chapter members, which resulted in a FAN movement in support of the drug court in Chippewa County. Therefore, I, Anthony G. Bosbus, Mayor of the City of Sault Ste. Marie, hereby proclaim on behalf of the citizens of Sault Ste. Marie our congratulations to Lisa Gothier on becoming the first Families Against Narcotics Chippewa County Chapter President. And furthermore, I offer our profound appreciation and thanks to Ms. Gothier for serving as a true ambassador for her hometown of Sault Ste. Marie as she traveled the state on behalf of Families Against Narcotics, representing Chippewa County, and to Lisa's husband, Theodore, and children, Shelby and Will. We thank them for the support that they have provided to Lisa that has allowed her to balance family, work, and president of Families Against Narcotics Chippewa County Chapter over the past 2.5 years to accomplish these achievements. Witness thereof, I hereby set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Sault Ste. Marie to be set this 15th day of February 2016. Anthony G. Bosbus, Mayor. Lisa? We'll let Lisa, just you stand right over here first, and then we'll get Shirley, and then you both can say a few words. And Joe Claxon, who is the chairman of FAN now, or the president of FAN, he has a few words he'd like to say too. Okay, come on up here, Shirley. Okay. Proclamation honoring Shirley Farnquist as vice president of the Families Against Narcotics FAN Chippewa County. And whereas Shirley Farnquist was the first chapter vice president of Families Against Narcotics of Chippewa County FAN, an organization which founded in June 2013, and much the same, a couple of whereases, much as Lisa's, but then we get down to whereas Ms. Farnquist has been a resident of Chippewa County her entire life, and as a retired human resources manager whose life has personally been afflicted with family who suffered from this insidious problem. And whereas Ms. Farnquist's unpretentious attitude as Vice President of FAN, Chippewa County Chapter, and commitment to the community states, if we keep even one grandparent, parent, or child from experiencing the terror, shame, humiliation, grief, and disbelief associated with such tragic circumstances, I truly believe that all our hard work for FAN will not be in vain. And whereas Ms. Farnquist's persistence to change the face of addiction resulted in several community members becoming aware of the drug epidemic and the formation of a committee much as FAN and here in Chippewa County. And therefore, I, Anthony G. Bobs, as Mayor of the City of Sault Ste. Marie, hereby proclaim on behalf of the citizens of Sault Ste. Marie, congratulations to Shirley Farnquist on becoming the first Families Against Narcotics Chippewa County Chapter Vice President. And furthermore, offer a proud appreciation and thanks to Ms. Farnquist for serving as a true ambassador for her hometown of Sault Ste. Marie as she traveled the state on behalf of Families Against Narcotics representing Chippewa County. And we thank her family for the support they have provided to Shirley that has balanced her. It has allowed her to balance family work and Vice President of Families Against Narcotics Chippewa County Chapter over the past 2.5 years to accomplish this achievement. And when deserve, I'm here and set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Sault Ste. Marie to be set this 15th day of February 2016. Anthony G. Boss, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much.
You're both going to go. Yeah, you want to do it first? Go ahead.
I'm just going to say something very briefly. We're very humbled. We did not want to come here, and we're humbled that we were invited. When adversity affects it, you go to work, and that's what we did. And not just us, but all these wonderful people sitting out here have been so supportive, some I didn't know, and love as a sister or brother right now. So thank you very much.
Okay, and then if you, Lisa, you'd like to say a few words, and then we'll let Joe Claxton's in the audience also.
Okay. I just want to thank everybody for this. I totally did not expect it. It's been one heck of a ride. And I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. Addiction will tear your family apart. And I hope that I know that FAN will continue to forge forward and do great things for this community. It's only going to get better for FAN to do this. Thank you.
I have a letter here from Judge Linda Davis, the district court judge in Fraser, Michigan, and she was one of the, probably one, if not the, people to start this in a church basement 8 years ago. And she says, "Dear Lisa and Shirley, it is with great regret that I write this letter. It is always sad to have one of our very active board members step down. I do, however, understand that life happens and sometimes it is necessary to take some needed time for yourself. I want to personally thank both of you for your commitment, passion, and devotion to taking a devastating event in your own lives and turning it into something productive and beneficial for your community. You came to FAN with raw emotion, and it was that emotion that made you both courageous leaders. Starting a chapter takes patience, endurance, creativity, and a drive to stick with it through thick and thin. FAN was fortunate to work with both of you, and we'll always know and appreciate that you were the pioneers of the Chippewa FAN chapter. I hope you will both stay involved with the local FAN chapter and that you will continue to put some of your energy into helping them stay a productive, focused chapter. Good luck, and both of you will always remain in our prayers as you deal with your own personal struggles. Sincerely, Linda Davis, President FAN of Fraser. FAN of Fraser originated the whole group, and from there, everything else broke off. I can't say enough about Shirley and Lisa. They just did everything. And I know more now than ever because I'm trying to fill Lisa's shoes and do all this, like, I gotta do this and I gotta do that. And, you know, I'm kind of a direction guy, not so much a detail guy, and so it puts a lot of perspective. FAN is here to help this community. We're vested in this community, and these girls got us started, and we're gonna keep going. And I'm just gonna take a second and say, Wednesday evening, LSSU, we have Tony Hoffman coming from California to speak. It's an open meeting. It's just a presentation. Tony was a successful BMX biker until he got into drugs and alcohol, and he just ruined his life, but he put it back together. And this will be his story. And we're bringing this to the community so that we can create some awareness and give people some paths that they can take when this affects your family. It is devastating. It hurts our families, our friends, our schools, our communities. And it's not just here in Sault Ste. Marie and surrounding area. It's across the nation. So Thank you for your support and all you've done, and for honoring these wonderful ladies.
So we want to be part of the picture?
I don't need a hug. They're not going to be able to read anything. One more in case somebody's blinking. Perfect, thank you.
So once again, that's Wednesday at 6 o'clock, Lake Superior State University,
Admission is free. We are
free admission. We encourage anyone that,
There'll be snacks, there'll be food.
yeah, excellent. No, I totally understand. Thank you all for what you do. Thanks. I also would ask those folks with cell phones if they would please put them on vibrate or silence them somehow. We would appreciate it. Item number 2 is an officer oath of office. Police Chief John Riley here. Okay. Pardon? Huh? Pardon?
Almost. Been here for 5 years.
Yeah. I was just going to play Police Chief John, and I thought I'd better say your last name.
My wife is sitting at home. John who? Mayor, Commission, I'd like to thank you for giving us this opportunity this evening. It seems like this has become a regular occurrence for the police department. However, with this evening's swearing in, it brings the department up to full staff until the middle of May, when Officer Wyman is expected to retire, and we'll be doing this again. So for this evening, I would like to call up Michael Ralicki. And City Clerk Robin will be administering the oath of office, then I'll administer the oath of honor.
Just going to have you raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this state, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of office of police officer in and for the city of Sault Ste. Marie, County of Chippewa, State of Michigan, according to the best of my abilities.
I do.
Raise your right hand. On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust.
On my honor, I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
I will always uphold the Constitution, my community, and the agency I serve.
I will always uphold the Constitution, my community, and the agency I serve.
Congratulations, welcome aboard.
Thank you, sir.
I'd like to introduce Officer Michael Ralicki.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the team. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Good job. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We, as a commission, certainly thank you for the job that you continue to do with your fellow workers and police officers, first responders, as they like to say. So, great to have you on the force, and good luck to all of you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 3, public comment on scheduled agenda items. Any person may reserve time to speak on an agenda item, not to exceed 3 minutes per person. Is there anyone in the audience like to speak on an agenda item? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to item number 4, the consent agenda. Assistant City Manager.
Under the consent agenda, A, minute approval. 1, approval of the minutes of the regular City Commission meeting of February 1st, 2016, and the goal-setting session of February 8th, 2016. Recommended action, approve the minutes of the regular City Commission meeting of February 1st, 2016, and the goal-setting session of February 8th, 2016. Item 2, acceptance of the minutes of the following boards and commissions. A is the PEHP, Department of Public Works, from February 3rd. B, Economic Development Corporation from January 12th. And C, Economic Development Corporation, January 27th, 2016 special meeting. Recommended action, accept the minutes of the various boards and commissions. Item B, appointments and resignations. 1, appointment to the Planning Commission. Recommended action, confirm the mayor's appointment of Robert Shimmons to the Planning Commission to fill the balance of a term to expire April 19th, 2016, and appoint Megan Kelly to the Planning Commission to fill the balance of a term to expire April 19, 2017. Item 2 under appointments and resignations is appointment to the Tax Board of Review. Recommended action is appoint John Saruk to the Tax Board of Review for a term to expire on January 1st, 2020. Item C, communications. 1, from the Planning Commission. Recommendation to approve a resolution to vacate with retention of utility easements the full width of the alley within Ball subdivision. Recommended action, schedule a public hearing on the resolution to vacate with retention of utility easements full width of the alley within Ball subdivision for the March 7th, 2016 City Commission meeting. Item 2 under communications is also from the Planning Commission. Recommendation to approve a resolution to vacate without retention of utility easements the full width of the alley within Block 4, Martin and Stewart's addition. Recommended action, schedule a public hearing on the resolution to vacate without the retention of utility easements full width of the alley within Block 4, Martin and Stewart's addition for the March 7th, 2016 City Commission meeting. Item 3 under communications from the Planning Commission. Recommendation to approve a resolution to vacate without the retention of utility easements the full width of the following alleys within the plat of subdivision of PLC number 120. A is the alley adjacent to lots 1 through 4 inclusive and 8 through 10 inclusive. Item B, the alley adjacent to lot 10 through 20 inclusive. And item C, the alley adjacent to lots 21 through 30 inclusive, together with the full width of the alley within Block 1, plat of Lemier's subdivision. Recommended action is to schedule a public hearing on the resolution to vacate without the retention of utility easements the aforementioned alleys for the March 7, 2016 City Commission meeting. Item D, special orders of business, is an adoption of an ordinance nunc-pro-tunc to properly document the 2009 past action of the City Commission. Recommended action is to adopt the ordinance nunc-pro-tunc to properly document 2009 past action of the City Commission extending the TIFA 3 plan by 10 years to a 40-year life.
Okay, thank you. Is there a commissioner that would like something further explained? Maybe just the attorney language in that last.
I want to hear our city manager.
The city
say-
attorney, possibly. What does that mean?
After the fact.
Just a quick question, and you have a question too? Okay.
Yeah, no comment, but
Yeah.
go ahead.
What does that mean, city attorney?
Nunc-pro-tunc is a Latin phrase we use in the court system. It means to do now that which should have been done before.
Oh,
And
sounds.
and this isn't the first time the commission has acted on a nunc-pro-tunc item either.
Oh.
Maybe the city clerk will search those words and find out when we,
Last
last time
did
we
that?
act
I
on
bet
it.
you it's
But
been
I know
a
we've
few.
done it before.
Been a few years.
Yeah, but what happened in this particular matter is that the method by which your ordinance action was codified in the TIFA 3 10-year extension second 10-year extension for TIFA 3 didn't meet the requirements of codification. We didn't find that out until we were studying the LDFA and TIFA 3 issues relating to the evaluation of real property and the loss of LDFA funding.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gage.
I just wanted to make a quick comment. It's not often when we make these appointments that the person we're appointing actually shows up, but I wanted to point out that Megan Kelly, who we're appointing hopefully to the Planning Commission, not only showed up, but she dressed up for the meeting, which is not normal of most of our appointees, so I just wanted to make a point of mentioning that.
Thank you, Megan. Okay, is there anyone that would like something else further explained on the consent agenda? Otherwise, Commissioner Bauer.
So moved that we pass the consent agenda.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Mayor Bosbus?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item 5, special orders of business. A is public hearing on the Community Development Block Grant Water Main Repair Project.
Okay, thank you. City Manager Turner.
Thank you, Mayor Bosbus. On this item, City Engineer Basista is planning to make a presentation to the City Commission.
Okay. Evening, Lynn.
Evening, Mayor, Commission. As you know, we applied for a grant in 2014 as a result of the significant damage that occurred from the 13-14 deep freeze. And as part of that grant, we are required to have a public hearing on the improvements that we had completed with the grant and allow the public to speak on the improvements as well. So my presentation is just to basically read into the record the accomplishments of the project, and I'll give you a little bit of background as well. So as I mentioned, we applied and received a grant in November of 2014 in a total amount of $968,403. And in addition to the $356,000 local match that was already completed for the repairs. And it's one of the obligations to hold this public hearing. As you're also aware, the deep freeze of the winter of 2013 severely and substantially strained the workforce, equipment, and budgets of the City of Sault Ste. Marie while damaging key components of our infrastructure, causing serious and immediate threats to the health and welfare of the community. During a period of over 6 months, City Water Department staff thawed over 350 frozen water accounts, excavated and repaired the city's water system at 43 different locations, including multiple locations within the historic downtown. They installed temporary water supplies to 19 accounts and isolated 4,160 feet of water main that was shattered during the deep freeze. Since that time, as part of the project, this water main that was isolated has been repaired. As part of the project, we've replaced over 3,000 feet of water main and reconnected 7 customers that were put on temporary water after the initial repairs were completed. The work that was done was completed on Riverside Drive, 2,250 lineal feet of 12-inch water main, and along with that, we were able to actually fully reconstruct Riverside Drive in that short stretch between Clyde's Drive and to the end of the project. Maple Street, we replaced 100 feet of 8-inch water main. Ridge Street, 160 feet of 10-inch water main. Sova Street, 320 feet of 8-inch water main. And Grove Cap, 250 lineal feet of 8-inch water main. The contractors involved in the project were C2AE, performed the design services on Riverside Drive. We in-house designed the water main replacement for Sova, Grove Cap, and Ridge Streets. C2AE did the construction engineering services, and M&M Excavating of Gaylord, Michigan was the contractor. Baco is part of a change order to their CSO C3 contract to replace the Maple Street water main. The project went relatively smoother, other than the regular and routine inconveniences that are experienced by the public and property owners during road and utility construction work. Because restoration was completed late in the season of 2015, the engineering department and C2AE will evaluate the work in the spring of 2016 for follow-up restoration items that may need to be completed by the contractor. The Community Development Block Grant not only helped finance the permanent repair of the key infrastructure components, but helped allow the City of Sault Ste. Marie to continue to invest in the ongoing improvement of our vital infrastructure. This investment was necessary to safeguard the health and safety of the community and offers the ability to address unforeseen situations like the one experienced during the deep freeze of the winter of 2013-14. I ask that you now hold the scheduled public hearing and then accept and to place this report on file.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Linda. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. Would like to, again, as in the past, express my appreciation to members of the administration for their hard work on this grant. As City Engineer Basista indicated, certainly this helped us make the necessary repairs to our infrastructure system while retaining our necessary fund balances in the utility systems so that we can respond effectively to emergencies and continue on with the appropriate management of our system. As has been discussed before, there was approximately $7.5 million in grant funding that was made available to those communities that had experienced issues during the deep freeze. And there were a number of communities that applied for this grant funding. It was a competitive process, and because of the strong documentation and records that were kept by the staff, approximately 13% of those funds came to the City of Sault Ste. Marie.
Great.
So the project was administered, as City Engineer Basista mentioned, smoothly, other than the regular inconveniences, which we certainly appreciate the public's patience, but overall the project has substantially completely been finished.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, we'll hold a public hearing and ask for comments regarding the water main repair project paid for with the assistance of the Community Development Block Grant through the Michigan Economic Development Corporation and Michigan Strategic Fund. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to make a comment at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. City Commission, Commissioner Gary.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to accept and place on file this report regarding the aforementioned activities.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Commissioner Lynn.
Just one comment. This is a state grant that was backed by Governor Snyder. Is that correct? The federal government had nothing to do with it?
City Manager.
Right. CDBG funding may have originated from federal sources, but this is a federally or a state administered grant as a conduit.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Mayor Boswith?
Yes. Motion carried. Thank you.
The next item under special orders of business is the adoption of the goals established by the City Commission for the 2016-2017 fiscal year.
Okay, thank you. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. On Monday, February 8th, the City Commission met in a full-day work session to develop the goals for the fiscal year that will begin on July 1st, 2016. In total, the City Commission established 18 goals, including both new goals and goals that were carried over from the current fiscal year, that City Administration will address in detail in the upcoming budget development process and on our day-to-day operations. To read through the goals that were established for the upcoming fiscal year, the goals, as in the past, were established within 4 different categories, including administration, economic development, infrastructure and equipment, and recreation. Under the administration category, there were 4 goals that were established. Goal A1 was to continue to strengthen sidewalk snow removal, and that's a continuation of a goal that currently exists. Goal A2, divest select city-owned properties, responsibly returning as many as practicable to the tax rolls. That was a newly established established goal and had 4 votes to be established. Goal A3, pursue the designation of Coast Guard City for the city of Sault Ste. Marie, was also a newly established goal with 4 votes. And goal A4, continue to increase the focus on safety for city employees and for the public utilizing city buildings and facilities, which is a continuation of this goal. Under the category of economic development, goal B1 is to work closely with Lake Superior State University to encourage and support growth and enrollment, and for LSSU to gain political and financial support from the state of Michigan, and that's a continued goal, and fitting that Dr. Plager and many of LSSU staff are in attendance to explain the project that will aim for that. Goal B2, continue to make the city of Sault Ste. Marie more college student friendly. Goal B3, embrace the concepts of economic gardening to create wealth and growth within the established business community. Both of those goals, B2 and B3, are continuations. Goal B4, support the redevelopment of the Maloney's Alley vicinity, was a newly established goal with 4 votes. Goal B5, work with a variety of municipal partners to develop a concierge program that welcomes entrepreneurs and others while enhancing communication with developing businesses, is a newly established goal with 4 votes. And that concludes the economic development category. Under the infrastructure and equipment category, there were 4 goals. The first 3 were continuations from the current fiscal year. Goal C1, pursue funding from state and federal sources for the reconstruction of the Carbide Dock. Goal C2, continue with the making of visual improvements throughout the entire city. And Goal C3, develop an asset management plan for the long-term responsible stewardship of city buildings, equipment, and materials. And a newly established Goal C4, improve pedestrian safety so that it is safe and convenient for children and their parents and guardians to walk to school. Finally, under the recreation category, Goal D1 was continued from the current fiscal year and is to relocate the skate and bike park from the Sioux Area High School to a more central location. Goal D2 was also carried forward to support the continuation of Light Up the Sioux, and Goal D3, continue to establish outdoor ice rink areas and recreation areas, was continued forward. Goal D4, pursue the construction of a walkway along the power canal, was continued forward. And finally, newly established was Goal D5, integrate bicycle-friendly amenities and features into the established transportation network and plans of the city of Sault Ste. Marie, was newly established with 4 votes. I've been requested to read as well into record those goals that were proposed but not adopted by the City Commission. Those goals include pursuing the creation of a public safety department, focusing on rehabilitation work at the wastewater treatment plant, focusing on the DPW complex improvements, addressing the unfunded liabilities within the police and fire pension fund, creating a blue ribbon revenue panel, and creating a social media website that provides for all of the activities and information about that activities in one central source. So certainly the city administration appreciates the devotion and hard work that the City Commission put into a full day's worth of efforts, and accordingly I recommend that the goals be adopted as presented. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Just a couple of comments, and then we can have comments from the commission if they would like. This is the first working document that the commission is involved with in the overall process of the budget. Initially, just so the public understands and those listening at home, the process started several months ago with the department head getting together and looking at where they have been and where they would like to be, and running those, presenting that to the city manager. And then I'd like to thank the commission for their diligence on the day-long session that we had. There was a lot of discussion, a lot of give and take. Consensus was arrived at, and that's where you see the established goals that we're talking about tonight. As you can see, it's a working document, so that some goals fall off the process because they've been completed, or because they just sometimes the importancy isn't there in one year from the next. But ultimately, this document will be a working document that continues to evolve as we go forward, so that in the process, the next process will be the looking at the budget and the hit and wish list, which we often talk about, and that moves along usually very, very good also. So when that comes about, we'll also talk about that. But to get to this point, there's been a lot of preparation work certainly done by the administrative staff, department heads, and as a commission, we certainly appreciate that, and it's always a decent activity, and it's kept the city in the black, and will continue to going forward, I'm sure. With that, City Commission, any comments? I know Commissioner Gage, this was your first, and I think Commissioner Osho, you're first, and I had some comments that I'm sure you'd like to make.
Yeah, so thank you, Mayor and Commissioners, for allowing me to participate, or not allowing me, but working with me this first commission goal-setting session that I was a part of. It was a fantastic process. I said to the Mayor, I said to Lindsay when I got home that this was probably the best day so far of my commission tenure. Going through this process, having a great discussion with all of you as a group about what the future of our city and where we're headed. And I think that the goals that we have established here really make me optimistic and excited about the future of our city. And I think that we've got a good forward vision of where we're going to be in the next 10 to 20 years. And I'm just excited to be a part of this process, so appreciate it.
You bet. Commissioner Osho, any comments?
No, actually, I echo Commissioner Gage's sentiment. It was really neat to see, because I've been a resident of Sault Ste. Marie my whole life, and it was really nice to see the inner workings of the City Commission and actually how we do establish the goals and how we want to go forth. And I also want to say that the open comments that we received from the city residents actually helped us a lot with those goals as well, and we appreciate that input as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else? Commissioner Lynn.
Your Honor, so move the city manager's recommendation.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Mayor Bosmas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Item 6, Communications A from Lake Superior State University, presentation on the Aquatic Research Laboratory Project and the Center for Freshwater Research and Education Project.
Okay, thank you. And let's turn it over to the city manager, and then we'll go to president of the university, Tom.
I came up too quickly.
Yeah, don't say, you're close. That's okay.
I'm just going to welcome Dr. Plager and Kevin Kapuscinski and Ashley Morkey, and certainly look forward to their presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Commissioner, and
Certainly.
We greatly appreciate the time to talk with you. A lot of exciting things happening on campus that I want to spend a couple of minutes to talk about, but I want to congratulate you on your goals. I'm very pleased to see Lake State to be prominently featured in your goals. The future of Sault Ste. Marie and the Eastern UP is very much the future of Lake Superior State University, and we're excited to work with you and planning and charting our future together for both the institution and the community in the surrounding area. I want to introduce all of our faculty and staff that are here this evening. Dr. Nancy Kirkpatrick, who's Dean over the Biological Sciences area, Dr. Megan Kelly, who you met, who's just been appointed, as I learned, to a special committee, who's a professor of chemistry, and Dr. Murky and Dr. Kevin Kapuscinski. I keep trying to get his name down. Do I have it correct? Kapuscinski. Kapuscinski and Ashley Murky, who I'll introduce in a few minutes. This is, since I've been here, there are a number of goals that we have been focusing on that I've mentioned to you in the past. When I was hired, I was asked to improve the visibility of the university, which includes enrollment, but also attract research funding and attraction to the university, to play a greater role in the community, to connect better with Sault Ste. Marie and the Eastern UP. We are focused on driving excellence in terms of the graduates we produce, the academic programs on campus, the research and scholarship that we're in. We are interested in improving our programs and connecting our programs to the research and scholarship in the community, particularly our applied programs, and improving our overall communication within and externally. The projects that we have going on campus all are focused along those goals. And as you know, the South Hall, Considine Hall is well underway, on track, and will open for the new Lukenda School of Business this fall. We are also completing our first master plan since the campus was owned by Michigan Tech, which looks to connecting more with the city and the community, and is a strategic look into the future of how we use our facilities. But tonight, I'm here to talk with you about the Aquatics Research Laboratory and the Center for Freshwater Research and Education. This is a project that accomplishes all of those goals. It is a game changer for the community and for the university. As you know, one of our primary majors is in fishery science. We are really on the cutting edge excuse me, of environmental quality research, particularly as it pertains to the Great Lakes. We produce somewhere in the neighborhood of 60+% of the folks that are in fishery science that are employed in that field. And we have a facility that has been producing approximately 98% of the Atlantic salmon stock, either egg or fry, for the Great Lakes. And that facility allows students to get direct hands-on experience in their education centered around Great Lakes research, water quality, fishery science, and really the core of one of our major focus or foci of the biological sciences. We have been in partnership with Cloverland this building for some time, and we now have an opportunity to take it to the next level. A project that will not only allow us to produce and grow our academic programs, to attract additional research funding, grant funding, and scholarship for our faculty, but also a program that has a facility housed right at the nexus of the Great Lakes, so the connection of the Great Lakes, on Sault Ste. Marie's waterfront. This project has tremendous outreach potential. We already have a significant number of people that visit this facility. The way this project is envisioned, that it will be a premier educational facility for understanding water quality and the importance of fresh water in the Great Lakes, North America, and the world. And as you know, Michigan is front and center in the news on water quality in recent months. We have the scientists and the expertise to safeguard, protect, and study the water quality of Michigan and the upper Great Lakes. So this project has the potential, or we know, will impact the community, the region, the Great Lakes, the university, and everyone who has an interest in understanding and protecting and studying freshwater quality. It's an exciting project, and it's one that we are pursuing in partnership with the city, with Cloverland. It is critical that we have that partnership with Cloverland to work together, and we appreciate the collaborative nature that they have been as a partner with us in the state of Michigan. As you know, when I was here last time, the last budget, the governor listed this project as a primary capital outlay project, ranked at #1. There were some challenges with the infrastructure and roads projects in Michigan that delayed those capital outlay projects. It is in his budget again, 3 projects recommended in the 16-year budget. So this is a $11.8 million project, which the state potentially could fund 3/4 of, that is a game changer for our community. And what we need from you is your continued support to move this project forward with Cloverland, with the state of Michigan, with the Department of Natural Resources, and all of the partners involved. I'd now like to introduce Dr. Ashley Murky, who is the director of the facility, who will bring you up to speed on the excitement and the involvement that she's had in the project and her entire career here. So, Ashley?
Thanks.
Evening, Ashley.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Let me get this going. I'm told I have to stay in one spot, which is always a challenge for me, but I'll do my best. Robin will remind me if I move. So I know actually many of you have been down to our aquatic research lab. I have given a personal tour for many of you, and if you haven't, we would extend an invitation at any time. But we're here to talk a little bit about more of the details that Dr. Plager had already kind of summarized of what we're doing. And I first want to start by giving you a history of what we've already accomplished, and then talk about what we're expecting to do with a renovation to the Center for Freshwater Research. And then my colleague Kevin Kapuscinski will take that part over. So if you weren't aware, often a lot of people in the community often talk about the Aquatic Research Lab as the fish lab. And so we're certainly known for our Atlantic salmon hatchery, but some people don't realize that we have a much broader mission that's not tied just to the university, but it's tied to the university, it's tied to the Great Lakes region. And really what our approach is that we're trying to kind of combine education and research in order to enhance all of our Great Lakes resources. And that's through undergraduate training, which is what we do at Lake Superior State University. It's also through collaborative research with colleagues inter-institution and colleagues throughout the Great Lakes, actually across the world in many cases. And we also are making sure that we take that information and we just don't do the research, but we're applying it and communicating it to the community to make sure that everybody has the best information to protect those water resources and manage them in a way that's most effective for our region. We have been, as Dr. Plager mentioned, we have been here in this working in this capacity for over 40 years. So the Aquatic Research Lab actually began about just under 40 years ago, and it was a partnership with Edison Sioux Electric at that time. About 30 years ago, the Michigan Department of Natural Resources came on board. And so we have created what we think is this really great model of public-private partnership, that we work hand in hand, and it's a collaboration that is a point of our pride. It's something we tout wherever we go, and it's certainly something that's responsible for the success that we've had. We couldn't have accomplished all of the things that I'm going to talk about without all of the partners that you see here. And we hope that this is going to continue and expand in terms of partnerships that are involved. So as I mentioned, what's often known most about our facility is our Atlantic salmon hatchery. And it should be. Many of you probably know Roger Greil, our manager, who has established this fishery, and it has been deemed a world-class Atlantic fishery by the Detroit Free Press. Along with that salmon fishery and protecting the fisheries and managing the fisheries we have in the St. Mary's River, it's estimated to have over a $9 million impact to the Michigan economy. You can see our Atlantic salmon have been found in every Great Lake. So if there's Atlantic salmon caught, particularly in the upper Great Lakes, it's come from Lake Superior State University students that have taken that egg and either raised it to a size where we can stock it, or have given that to the state where they can do the same. So this is a fishery that has been solely created by our facility and has become an important recreational and economic kind of asset to this region. And of course, along with those funds remains that we're bringing in supporting jobs in terms of tourism, anglers that are visiting from all over the world to catch Atlantic salmon, as well as other game fish in this region. In addition to the hatchery, we take a lot of efforts to promote and provide strong professional training opportunities for our students. So the hatchery is student-run, so if you go there at any day, you'll find a few of our students that are maintaining that facility every day. And in addition, we have one of 2 fish disease testing labs in the state of Michigan. So these are kind of at the forefront of trying to make sure that we identify quickly and we can react to quickly diseases that might potentially have a negative impact on our fisheries. We also are supporting senior thesis research activities, so we have students that are conducting research that's applied to water resource issues. And as a result, we found that we have a strong record of recruiting and retaining students at Lake Superior State University in our program. In fact, Fisheries and Wildlife is the #1 largest program this year. And that has translated to being extremely competitive in the job market. We have a very strong record in state and federal employment. Over 3/4 of the employees in the state's fish production facility are Lake State alums, which is pretty impressive when you think of that, when you understand that our program is a fraction of the size of some of the bigger institutions in this state. So really we're overrepresented in those situations. In addition, we've been conducting research for many years. In the last 5 years, we've been partners and responsible for bringing over $12 million directly to the Eastern Upper Peninsula, and over $20 million that we've partnered on in research grants that have come to the state of Michigan. So these are dollars that are employing students and employing research technicians that are kind of young career professionals that are coming to our region and staying in our region. It's also addressing questions that are vital to making sure that our resources in our backyard are protected. And a lot of those projects vary, but just some examples I wanted to talk about are that we're working on things such as invasive species. So we've been instrumental in combating sea lamprey in the St. Mary's River. Our students assist with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service on that project. We've been the first ones to detect a new aquatic invasive plant, which is European frogbit, that's found in the St. Mary's River now, and have been assisting with eradication efforts. We are a key partner in the Little Rapids Restoration Project, which is a $10 million project funded through NOAA in order to restore rapids habitat, create another fishery in this area, and increase recreational opportunities. And we've been key partners in identifying water quality concerns and developing solutions. So the graph on the right is a graph showing E. coli results, which are bacteria fecal contamination source. We worked with the state to identify where the highest levels were and then help implement methods in order to control those. So these are all projects in our backyard that the Aquatic Research Lab has played a very strong role in, and that we expect to continue to do so. As well as research and training, one of the areas that we would really like to expand, although we already have a surprisingly large role, is in community outreach. We have over 3,000 visitors visit the facility each year, and if you've been there, you recognize that it's not really conducive to visitors. We're in an operating hydroelectric plant. It's loud, turbines are running all the time. The doors are open, so it's dirty. We're constantly cleaning. But we still get people really engaged in understanding more about the life cycle of a fish and about the hatchery itself, and understanding about issues in the Great Lakes. In addition to the visitors, we have specific school groups that come through, over 30 children's groups a year. Some come as far as Rogers City. Every year we have a group of, I think, 6th graders that come up from Rogers City just to tour our facility and to kind of experience and learn more about the Great Lakes. And so we've been doing this with some pretty tremendous limitations. What you might not be aware is that we are currently not connected to any city water or sewage on the east end of the hydro plant. So that means that in the winter, we don't have running water, we have river water, and that limits our ability to conduct a lot of research, and certainly has some hygiene issues as well. We also don't have any dedicated space for educational efforts. We're really interested in trying to increase our outreach with K through 12 programs. So we want to encourage student groups to come to our facility and learn about the Great Lakes, but we don't have the facility right now that we can house that. And we don't even have a facility where we can have displays and talk about how important the Great Lakes are to this community. You know, we're surrounded by 3 Great Lakes. We're within an hour's drive of 3 Great Lakes. That's, you know, almost a fifth of the world's freshwater resources. There's no other university can say that they have that type of access to such a resource. Yet we haven't taken advantage of it to really draw the tourists, draw the community in, and provide that education and provide those opportunities for them. And so we have, for the last almost 10 years now, been working on the renovation of our building. We're going to relocate to the annex building on the west end and renovate it to the Center for Freshwater Research and Education. Since 2007 is when we acquired the building from Edison Sioux. We have been a long process of going through hiring architects and engineering firms. We completed some conceptual designs about 4 years ago. We have an animation that you're about to see and some other public relations materials. And then in 2014, we submitted our project to the state, and as Dr. Plager mentioned, last year and this year, our project remains ranked as #1 or as a top priority by the governor, and that has initiated a feasibility study by Lake States Foundation in order to pursue what it would take for us to fundraise the remaining portion of that. So we are dedicated to seeing this project through. We think that it is a project that provides tremendous opportunity for the university and for the community. It's not only going to enhance our educational resources for our university students, but it is going to be an asset to all community members to be able to provide children with opportunities to learn more about the resources that are in their backyard. It's also going to provide a collaborative office space and lab space where we're going to invite visiting researchers from agencies and other universities from throughout the Great Lakes in order to collaborate here in Sault Ste. Marie. So it's truly going to be a center for freshwater research and education. And to talk a little bit more about the details, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Kevin Kapusinski, who is going to walk you through the animation, if I can pull it up. Yeah. And the volume, it's more of a...
Thank you, Dr. Murphy. Thank you.
Yeah, some water in the background, some gulls.
Evening, Kevin.
So as Ashley mentioned, it's a unique location, right? We're within an hour's drive of 3 of the Great Lakes, not to mention hundreds of streams and rivers also. There's other aspects of the location that are critical to our function. I'm going to try to pause this when we get closer. Being adjacent to the canal allows us to utilize gravity-fed water, so we don't have to pump water 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We're also raising the fish in the same water that we're releasing them into, this, so they have, we think, higher survival because of that. Can I back this up? Just, you also are I'm sure you're all familiar that it's adjacent to the Sioux Locks boat tours. So we have tourists coming in and out, the Valley Camp Museum ship, and then relatively close to the Tower History. So there's some real attraction here for tourists. So people will, of course, be coming to our facility, but also extending tourist stays for folks that are at some of these other tourist destinations. So all that will mean revenue for the city and local businesses, and also increased recruitment for Lake State. And you'll see here we'll do this fly-through through the park. This is a conceptual design of the park. This will allow local community members, also tourists, to engage in self-guided tours of the park, moving through these learning nodes where they can learn about freshwater resources and just the outdoors and science in general. And if you're familiar with the area, you know that it's rather devoid of green space and a place for the public to go, so this would be a real asset to the local community. Here's the main entrance, which right now is a door that's boarded up. On the first floor, there will be tanks, interpretive, self-guided opportunities, again, for people during our normal business hours to come through, engage in self-guided tours, learning about the Great Lakes, issues facing the Great Lakes like invasive species, but also learn about our native species and some of the research that we and our collaborators are doing. Again, another asset for the community, but also tourists. And the first floor of the facility will also house the hatchery. Our hatchery right now has been very successful, but we have issues with biosecurity, contamination of the fish we're raising. We can't afford to lose a year class of fish in a particular year. The state has been relying more and more on Atlantic salmon for sport fishing in the Great Lakes. And you'll see here there's this glass wall that will separate the general public from the hatchery facility, but they'll still be able to look in and view our students working as they feed the fish, clean the raceways, and do everything that they have been doing for the past 30+ years. But we'll have the increased biosecurity. We will also have a slight increase in the number of fish we're able to produce, and we may have the flexibility to rear additional species. Right now we can only rear Atlantic salmon. Just a little flyover, and eventually it'll bring us into the second floor, which is really focused on two things, research and education. So as I mentioned, the park and the first floor will allow for some self-guided opportunities for tourists and members of the public. The second floor will have this discovery center where our vision is to have our education students at the university teaching K-12 modules, teaching kids about water resource issues, biology in general. So our students are getting that teaching experience. The K-12 students are learning about water resources, freshwater issues. So this is a win-win. Our students get training, but we're also recruiting the next generation of scientists, hopefully recruiting them to Lake State. The studies that have been done suggest that each of our students brings in about $45,000 a year in economic effects to the community. So increasing our recruitment, of course, is not just good for Lake State, but also the city. And then we'll have state-of-the-art research facilities, which will benefit, obviously, our students conducting their research, but also give us as faculty opportunities to conduct research and collaborate with folks around the country on issues facing the Great Lakes. And this also houses that fish disease lab that Ashley talked about. It's hard to see, we don't have designs of the third floor, but you can see here there's a third floor. That will be where we'll have a conference center where we could host meetings and engage with our collaborators in the community. But also have what we plan to have office space that'll be for low rent to collaborators like DNR, the tribes, and Michigan Sea Grant is already planning to host, or I should say house an employee here at the Seafree. So the third floor will be an opportunity to increase our collaborations and also house visiting scientists and graduate students engaged in research. So again, it will benefit our students because they'll have direct contact with those folks from around the country, potentially. And the rest is just some information about if you're interested, where you can send your donation. Commissioner Gage.
Yes.
I've got a check for you, don't worry.
So again, we're doing a really good job now of educating our students. This opportunity will allow us to really ramp up that research and outreach component. So I imagine we will field any questions that you may have at this time, if we have time for that.
So let me just start by saying that the City of Sault Ste. Marie, the commission is 110% behind this project. You know, it's just and I think I'll take Dr. Tom Plegger's a game changer. That, without a doubt, this is probably the most significant project that Lake State has had in cooperation with the City of Sault Ste. Marie since I can remember. And what it'll mean to the whole community, the jobs, the tourism, what it'll mean to Lake Superior State University. We all know we're looking at student populations that we want to grow. We know it's 45,000 behind each student conservatively as they come into this community. It's just something that this has to happen. And the governor's got the #1 project, is the Lake Superior State University. We'll do everything we need to do in the city to make sure that this is a successful program. And I'm sure I speak for the commission. We just can't wait for it to get started. We've already begun our master recreation plan that we just adopted last meeting, which helps with the front grassy area. And as we all say, that's an animation. Could look a little bit different than that, but ultimately the whole process being as close to the tourist areas that it happens to be, you only get one chance for this kind of a thing happening. And we're so fortunate that you're on board and on top of this for this time so that we can move forward with this endeavor. I mean, it's, and I'm also on the foundation board and know that those folks are ready to make things move as soon as we know we have a project. And it looks certainly like people at home get a chance to see the possibilities. And when we get 500 to 600 to 700,000 people coming into our community, this will be one stop that they will want to go to. Plus, it just ties in the whole West Portage Avenue to the bridge. And it just makes this whole area along here, it just becomes much more valuable and more community and more people in it, which means that the business opportunities are going to be just going to expound, I would guess, as you going forward. So for the commission, it's just we can't wait. We would like to see this thing going as soon as possible. I know, Ashley, you've been working on this for an awful long time, and the research possibilities, the K-12 possibilities. I mean, it's tremendous. So we just whatever we can do to move it forward, we'll be there. Commissioner Gage.
Yep. Of course, I'm going to say something tonight. I have to. I just want to say again, I appreciate my colleagues from Lake State coming and giving the presentation. When I first saw that video after I started working at Lake State, one of the things I thought about the most is growing up here in Sault Ste. Marie, next to the St. Mary's River. I'm ashamed to say it. I'm not much of a scientist. I have no idea what's in there. Fish, plants. I don't know. And where do you go to learn that kind of stuff? And the more I think about it, if we're at a university named after the greatest of the Great Lakes, we're in a city named after the river that connects them, it makes complete sense that we would be leading the way in freshwater research and education. Kevin hates that word, game changer, but I love it. It's going to be a game changer, Kevin. It's going to be awesome. And whatever it takes. And the thing that I think is so transformative about it is not only do you have so many different aspects of what makes Lake State great, but it just ties in the whole community, and what better place to have it but here in Sault Ste. Marie. So.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Gage. Anyone else? Commissioner? No? Commissioner Lynn.
What would be the holdup of this project not going forth? Certainly not with the city. The
Dr. Plager?
Behind it,
Yeah.
what have you. So
we need to have a couple of things happen to make this a successful project. We need to have the capital outlay award from the state of Michigan. We've done the feasibility study to show what we can potentially raise. We will need the support of the community of the Great Lakes, the scientific community, to make this happen. We need the support of our partners. That includes the city, which you've expressed great support in. The Department of Natural Resources has been a great supporter, and we need this support and cooperation of Cloverland. And we're working closely with them, but it's critical, their collaboration and their cooperation to continue to support our work down there and to make this happen. So those are the things that need to come together, and we are very close to making this happen.
Well, Clover Electric has a lot of stake in LSSU, probably their largest customer.
We're one of the largest, yes. And they've been a great partner with us in terms of supporting the Aquatics Research Lab and the work that we do down there. We would not be able to do this anywhere else. What's made the program successful in terms of the Atlantic salmon are the right combination of the gravity-fed water, the water quality, the attraction of the turbine sound, we think has a role in returning fish. Is that correct on that? Perhaps. We're going to test that, right? But the fact that we don't have to transport fish away from that location is really what makes it successful. So it's a unique location, incredible facility in terms of its history. But while I'm up here, I want to tell you one quick story, though, about education that I learned when I got here. We have close to, I think it's 30 charter schools across Lower Michigan. And during the summer, we have charter school students up to Lake State. Last year, we had maybe 500 students. And as Ashley mentioned, this facility will be a fantastic outreach, lifelong learning, enrichment education center. And last year I heard from one of our students our college students working down at the facility, that one of the charter school students from Detroit said to one of our students that he had never seen a fish in person. A freshwater Great Lakes fish alive in person from a student living in the Great Lakes state. And I think that just gives you an idea of how important this could be in terms of communicating the importance of the Great Lakes to youth and to people of all ages who are interested in our economy and interested in the Great Lakes as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Hey.
Anyone else? We continue to thank you for the work that you do, and
You're welcome. Thank you, Mayor.
good luck. You bet. Thank you. Thank you for the presentation, and certainly as Lake State moves forward, we always have room on our agenda for Lake State. If you want to, educate the public on things going up on board at Lake Superior State University, you're more than welcome to share those with us.
I'm happy to come back anytime. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you. Okay, so item number 7.
Thank you,
the City
Mayor.
Manager's report.
Item A under the City Manager's report would provide for the award of a contract to LD Doxa Associates for the wastewater treatment plant screw pump improvement project. As outlined before Commission, the current condition of the wastewater treatment plant screw pumps installed in the 1985 plant expansion range from poor to below average. 2 of the pumps currently can be run for extended periods of time, while the other 2 will have bearing failures if run more than a few weeks at a stretch. This project was originally bid in 2015. However, as it was over budget and the bids were not representative of the work as expected, staff decided to postpone the project and rebid it during the 2016 calendar year for implementation during low flow periods, and to also obtain more favorable pricing. This project would include the installation of a new 5th screw pump, the replacement of bearings on the existing 4 pumps, and much needed control improvements. The project plans and specifications were originally prepared by C2AE, and modifications were made for the rebidding of the project. Bidding documents were prepared and released on January 12th for the same. The following bids were received and opened in the City Clerk's office on Tuesday, February 2nd. The low bid initially was Fisher Contracting Company at $343,000, LD Doxa Associates in the amount of $348,000, and C.R. Meyer & Sons Company at $366,000. Upon a review of the qualifications and experience of each contractor and following discussions with staff as well as contractors, it is recommended that the contract be awarded to the second low bidder, LD Doxa Associates of Kalamazoo. It should be noted that Fisher Contracting is a substantial company and a highly capable contractor in certain areas of work. However, they lack proven experience with wastewater treatment plants, and therefore it would be in the best interest of the city to award the contract to the second low bidder at a difference of $5,000. LD Doxa has significant experience in wastewater treatment plant work, and it is their primary area of expertise. The screw pumps are a critical component of the wastewater system that allows the sewage to be removed from the sewer system into the wastewater treatment plant. And having a contractor with experience in this type of work adds an additional level of assurance and confirmation that the system will continue to operate effectively during the work and the rehabilitation. Additionally, C2AE has been requested to provide construction engineering services and has provided a proposal for this work as Amendment 2 to its contract in the amount of $14,800 for services related to this project. Finally, a budget amendment of $75,000 to establish a new budget of $385,000 will be required to cover the cost of the project. Accordingly, it is my recommendation that the City Commission approve a budget amendment in the amount of $75,000 as outlined within the fiscal effects section of the presented materials for a new budget of $385,000 and award the included construction contract to LD Doxa Associates of Kalamazoo in the amount of $348,000, and finally approve C2AE's contract amendment number 2 in the amount of $14,800 to provide construction engineering services. And as a note, the amount that was recently transferred back to the Sewer Equipment Replacement Fund at the January 18th meeting where capital carryovers are released was approximately $74,855, which is very close to the $75,000 budget amendment that's highlighted herein. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. There are 3 recommendations in discussion with the city attorney. Those are 3 separate motions. Commissioner Osterhout.
Yes, I want to just thank the city staff for actually going in and looking at the requirements of this bids and also looking at the companies and their abilities to do it, because I think that's key. Cheaper is not always better. So I do want to just thank you for going and looking into that. And I want to make a recommendation that we support the city manager's recommendation.
And there's 3 separate motions, so we're going to need 3 separate bids.
Okay.
I mean, 3 separate motions.
Okay, I move that we approve a budget amendment in the amount of $75,000 as outlined within the fiscal effects section of the presented materials for a new budget of $385,000.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Mayor Bosfus?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Motion carried. Item number 2, Commissioner Osterhout.
Okay, I want to make a motion that we approve the award, the included construction contracts to LD Doxa Associates of Kalamazoo, Michigan, in the amount of $348,000.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Mayor Bosfus?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And finally, 3.
Okay, and I also move that we support and improve the C2A's contract amendment number 2 in the amount of $14,800 to provide construction engineering services.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Lynn?
Yes.
Commissioner Osterhout?
Yes.
Mayor Bosfus?
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer?
Yes.
Commissioner Gage?
Yes.
Commissioner Gary?
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
That concludes the city manager's report. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Item number 8, matters presented by the public. Is there anyone in the audience like to make a comment at this time? Okay, hearing none, we'll go on to item number 9, matters presented by the commission. Commissioner Lynn,
No one's got anything to say?
you're first.
I do. Hold on, Your Honor. All right, we got it. What this is Sault Ste. Marie Polar Plunge. Is for Special Olympics, and it's going to be Sunday, March 20th at the Elks Lodge. There'll be a registration at 10 a.m., the plunge at 11 a.m., and I understand that the city commission, the mayor, and especially the mayor and city manager are going to take that plunge. I'd be happy to do it, but unfortunately, I'm going to be in Texas. There'll be awards after the splash bash is what they're calling it. This is worthy cause to raise money for the Special Olympics. It's the law enforcement torch run for Special Olympics in Michigan. And you can purchase the t-shirt. I don't know how come I got a 2X. I thought this was for Commissioner Gary. But, I don't know if you can see this.
Oh, just maybe stand up so you can. There you are.
Two
It
chicken,
says,
shoot chicken to
"Two
plunge."
chicken to plunge.
That's the one that's the shirt we want.
I don't know, Commissioner, I think it's too big for you.
So on March 20th, that's
March
a,
20th would be nice if, I'm sure we're getting some people to take.
well, I've been to a couple of those, and they do get folks that are crazy enough to want to take a dip at that time. I know our city fire department will be on hand. And we certainly wish the folks putting this together good luck, and it's great to have the Special Olympics involved. And again, that's on Palm Sunday, March 20th. So, yes, President.
I think I'm a judge for that, but I'm not sure what all that entails.
I don't think you have to go in.
That's good.
Anyone else? Commissioner Bauer.
Since Commissioner Twardy's not here, I should probably mention that the Maloney's Alley Ice Rink party is happening this Wednesday night.
Forgot about
That's
that.
right. On 17th, I think it is?
Yep.
Yes. Wednesday night from 6 to 9, I believe, or 4 to...
I don't know, you know what?
Wait a minute,
if I
somebody-
told you
It's
I
on
knew the time,
Facebook.
I'd be lying.
Facebook will tell you.
Okay. Okay.
Or Justin could.
Okay, Justin Nepper is here. He's going to
And
look
he's-
on.
and
Come on
he's
to the
come-
microphone if you would.
And he looks so nice tonight. He has to be on TV.
Well, I have another announcement. Well, we're talking about events. I believe it's at 6 o'clock, but my phone is dead and I can't check.
Okay.
It's at 6 o'clock. Okay, and we'll have, I know she has everything from hot chocolate to root beer, Sioux Brewing, and Cup of the Day. A number of other sponsors are involved. I think there's going to be music from the Eagle radio station, so it's going to be a really fun time. Again, behind M-Bank in the Maloney's Alley parking lot. We're getting all sorts of stuff ready with the DDA maintenance staff. We also have the outhouse races this Saturday at 2 o'clock. So that will be next to 1668 Winery and Lockside Brewery and the Palace Saloon, both of which are sponsors of the event. And that will be from 2 till about 4 o'clock. A lot of good times down there.
I don't want to have to call you up here, but that's during public comment. We want you to come up here and make that information available to people, okay? Thank you. Thanks, Justin. Commissioner
Sorry,
Bauer?
one more thing.
Sure.
Just since Justin brought up the outhouse races, that immediately following the outhouse races, we have a fundraiser happening at 1668 Winery for Sioux High Band. It is a brat and chili sale. So
Excellent. Okay. Great. And that's this Saturday?
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Commissioner Lynn?
Your Honor, I was so moved that we adjourned this excellent meeting.
Support.
It's been moved, supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.
I must owe you something somewhere. That's why I picked on you.
I'll get you that. I'll get you that.
I
should take the punch so you can chill out. You didn't pick on me once tonight, Bill. What's wrong?
Yeah. What happened?